Bristol's postcode rivalry has become a deadly, tangled history. More than 50 serious incidents since 2018. Police told jurors for murders, 2 attempted murders, 18 knife or machete woundings, 14 assaults, and 12 incidents of weapons being brandished or seized. This week, a jury convicted Zacharia Talbert-Young over the 2023 stabbing death of 19-year-old Eddie King Kinuthia in St. Paul's, and also found him guilty of the attempted murder of another teenager in Lawrence Hill. Prosecutors say Eddie's killing sat inside a wider pattern of tit-for-tat violence between 2 loose cohorts. The 2 4s from St. Paul's, St. Jude's, and the 1 6s from Fishponds, Hillfields, and East Bristol groups named after their postcodes. Importantly, the 1 6s weren't born overnight. They emerged after older members of an Easton BS5 faction were driven out of their territory by the St. Paul's Blood Gang. While displaced and hiding, these younger Hillfields fighters pressured their way into influence around Fishponds and ultimately formed a new Fishponds-based crew, the 1 6s. That migration and reinvention fueled many of the local clashes. DCI Mark Allman and the police deliberately used terms like cohorts rather than gangs, because these are often loose, shifting networks, not a single commander issuing orders. For many young people, membership can feel tribal. Colors, drill music, social media beefing, and the peer pressure of where you're from. But when knives and machetes enter that tribal identity, ordinary arguments turn lethal. The trial established links across several tragic deaths. Takayo TK Stretch Nembert, a drill rapper tied to the 1 6s, was stabbed to death in August 2022 at Notting Hill Carnival. A month later, Mikey YM Roynan, a 16-year-old rapper from Kingswood, was murdered at a bathhouse party. The manslaughter of Dante Davis in October 2021 and the killing of Darian Williams in February 2024 were also connected in court to the same rivalry. In Darian's case, jurors heard he was stabbed after being falsely accused of being a 6, and the attackers ran off shouting about the 2s. Many victims, like Eddie and Darian, were not proven members of either cohort, but became targets through visibility, location, or association. The violence didn't stop after Eddie's murder. 7 months later, while on police bail, Talbert-Young and co-defendant Paul Hayden attempted to murder another teenager in Lawrence Hill. The court also heard DNA links tying both men to a discarded handgun from an 2021 Easton incident. Inquiry that took nearly 2 years to prove. That earlier gun case led to a separate prison term around 5 years before the murder trial concluded. At sentencing, the judge handed down heavy penalties. Talbert-Young received 2 life sentences with a combined minimum term. 33 years and 136 days for Eddie's murder and a further life term with a minimum of 20 years for the attempted murder. Paul Hayden was jailed for life with a minimum of 17 years and 136 days for his role in the attempted murder. These rulings close one chapter, but police warn the feud's roots run deep. Youth workers, teachers, and parents describe the problem as a grim cycle, not a hierarchical gang with orders from above, but a loose identity that can pull in 14 and 15-year-olds through peer pressure, music, and neighborhood loyalty. As one youth worker put it, For many youngsters, it's like supporting a football team, colors and crew, becoming a way to belong. When that identity mixes with weapons, it becomes deadly. This case is another painful reminder. These are real young lives, not storylines. Eddie wasn't a gang leader. He was visible in his community and knew people across those circles. Darian wasn't a gang member. He was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. And a rivalry that started with territorial fights and displacement has escalated into a cascade of stabbings, grief, and lengthy prison terms. For more crime stories from your city and area, like and subscribe.